Hi folks, this is Danny at Bradley James Classics and I'm bringing you something extra special today. A absolutely awesome piece of engineering, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time walking around this bike, showing you this bike and explaining what we have here today. It's gorgeous from every angle, and having just come back from taking this bike out for a ride on a summer's day, I really am in two minds as to whether this ought to be one that stays in my personal small bike collection, but I can't keep them all. This one is unique, it's a one-off, and personally, I think it's absolutely stunning, and when you see the attention to detail, you'll understand just how special this bike is. It's quite famous. It was commissioned by Tony Castriotta, who is a member of David Bowie's rock band, guitarist. Lives in San Diego, California, USA, and he had a love for these Atlas rigid frame bikes, and obviously this is a stretched example. He partnered up with a company in California who were called Custom Cycle Creations, or CCC, and then he partnered with Nigel Patrick of Patrick Racing, and they happen to build NASCAR engines. So this is no ordinary bike, massive high compression. It sounds absolutely awesome, to the extent that the neighbour to where my business is based here come running round and immediately told me she was going to report me to the local authorities for noise pollution. So there we are. It happens. It's got a huge spec, and rather than run through absolutely everything in this video, I'm obviously going to be attaching a copy of the specification. And what's really lovely about this bike is that it does come with a copy of Easy Rider magazine. From this was on the front. In fact, I've got a copy of that magazine which I'm going to try and show in this video, and of course there's a full list of specification there. But just the high level, it's based on a Harley Davidson Evolution engine. It's got a beautiful 88 cubic inches. It's powerful, super powerful, really quick, really pulls you. It's polished and ported, and it's a phenomenal engine, and that in English translates to about 1450 cc. And if you can just look at what a work of art that engine is, full specification, and there's a receipt from last year where it had £1,200 spent on Fettel, new clutch, etc. So the bike is absolutely on the button. She starts beautifully well, and these 2¼ inch pipes don't have a lot in the way of baffle, but they do have a lot in the way of noise, and they sound absolutely awesome. I happen to know there's a 21 inch front wheel, and there just is so much detail, so much beauty to this bike. There's a great photograph of the chap who had it built riding it in California. The history that I've been able to find out from speaking to the previous owner, who traded this bike in against our fantastic Indian chief, 1948. It had been involved in a charitable auction in California. It came to the UK in 2017. My customers owned the bike, loved the bike, and felt that his ambition to own an Indian chief had some potential, so we were delighted to trade this bike in, and he got his dream bike, and I've got to say, I think I've got mine. this is absolutely awesome. Well, due to my neighbour being on the warpath, I won't be starting her up today, but I have actually got a simple video that I've had made which just shows you the very easy starting procedure. And you can see there's an ignition key here, and there's a button underneath, there's a simple choke, and up the front there is a petrol tap. But yeah, she is beautiful, and I don't really know where to start to show you some of the detail, but you know, just look at the work that goes into these little mirrors, these grips, these lovely forks, and can you see the speedo down there? She's displaying 8,488 miles, and there's some history around that shows there was a gentleman who owned this bike, did 3,000 miles on it in California, and he wrote about his experiences. So it's a pretty famous machine. Being on a front page of a Easy Rider magazine really is a badge of honor for any bike builder, so that's always going to have that, and this bike is simply gorgeous. So it's got a 5-speed box. It has got a beautiful paint job by a company in the US called House of Color, and all this airbrush work is obviously all custom, and it is absolutely phenomenal. And I can't really, other than telling you the specification is going to be attached to the advert, all I can say is that it's absolutely awesome to ride. It's fast, and anyone who's ever remembers riding a rigid frame bike, obviously big in the middle to late 60s, and then you put a lot of power in it and it just pulls and pulls and pulls. This is a very fast bike, and the build, I understand that the engine alone was thousands and thousands, and obviously into this beautiful frame it's something very special. I'd consider it an investment for the future, because I think bikes like this, these one-offs, are always going to be special and sought after. But this is something that you can have, and it will always be a talking point wherever you go. People absolutely love this machine. I've only had it a short while, and people have been flocking around it asking questions because they've never seen anything quite like it. It's absolutely awesome. So I think the bike took 2 years to build, huge costs, and I think this one will be one of those bikes that I'll always remember having with me. I don't know if it's going to be with me for a short time or a long time, but I've got to tell you, on days like this, I'm not going to be too devastated if it stays here for a long time, because it's absolutely beautiful. Well, I'm going to get up close and just give you a final walk around, but this is something that needs to be seen to be appreciated. I mean, it's been very, very well loved. It is super clean, and anyone who owns a bike like this knows that a part of the ownership material is the loving work that goes into keeping these beautiful machines clean and looking awesome. And this one really just is beautiful from every angle. If I was being critical, I would point out here that there's a few little chips in the paint just above this huge wide tyre. I'm looking around for anything else, and there really isn't much else to point out to you. She has survived very, very well from her build date. This bike's been loved, and it's had its famous guitar owner, who I think would look even extra cool on a bike like this riding around in San Diego. Well folks, please make your inquiries through the usual channels. Please get in touch to arrange a viewing. We can arrange UK transportation, or we can work with your shipping partner. If you happen to be watching this from overseas and you want it in your country, that we can certainly work with your shipping partner to make that happen. But thank you very much for watching the video today. This is an awesome bike. I have her in stock and she is ready to go. Thank you very much for watching the video. It's Danny at Bradley James Classics signing out.